Just 2 weeks ago, Democrats have cast more than three-quarters of the early ballots for Pennsylvania so far. Democrats are far outpacing the repugs and ballots that were cast so far in Pennsylvania, a battleground state that 45 won by less than 1% in 2016. Democrats are responsible for 76% of the ballots cast so far in that state, despite making up roughly 47% of the registered voters. Meanwhile, repugs make up almost 39% of the registered voters in Pennsylvania, but only 16% of repugs have cast their ballot so far for that state. With, with only 12 days left until Election Day, Democrats have also led repugs and pre-election voting in eight more key states that could decide the next president from then. This detailed pre-election voting information comes from Catalyst, a company that provides data, analytics, and other services to Democrats, academics, and nonprofit issue advocacy organizations, and is giving new insights into who is voting before November. Catalyst analyzed almost 8 million ballots cast in 31 states so far. The, return, the returns represent a small fraction of the expected number of ballots to be cast in 2020, as 45 and Hillary Clinton had received about 130 million votes combined 4 years ago. In those competitively rated states with party data available, the Democratic voters represent a greater share of the pre-election day voting than repugs, as early and mail voting have surged amid the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Although that is not predictive of the ultimate outcome of any race, the data reflects polling that shows repugs strongly prefer voting in person on Election Day rather than early. In almost all of those key states, Democratic voters also make up a large share of those who have cast ballots so far this year than they did at this point in the 2016 cycle. In fact, in Florida and North Carolina, repug voters actually led in ballots cast at this point 4 years ago, but now Democrats hold a 22-point lead over repugs in the share of ballots cast in Florida and a 33-point lead in North Carolina. Catalyst's voting information also provides insights into the racial composition of early voters during this cycle. While voters currently comprise a majority of the early ballots cast in each of CNN's most competitive states, where data by race is available in almost all of those key states. However, white voters make up a smaller share of the ballots cast now than they did at this time 4 years ago. And here's a deeper look at those trends in some key states. The Florida voters have returned about 2.5 times as many ballots as this time in 2016. Black and Hispanic voters in the Sunshine State comprise slightly greater shares of ballots cast so far compared to this point 4 years ago. Black voters currently account for 11% of those ballots, which was up from 8% in 2016, and Hispanic voters represent 12 of the ballots cast, which is up from 10% that was back in 2016. The white voters still account for the vast majority of the pre-election day ballots in Florida, but their share is down compared at this point in 2016. They comprised about 80% of advance votes 4 years ago, but now it's down to 73% now. According to exit polls, white voters make up 62% of the Florida's electorate in 2016, so it's possible they could be overrepresented in the early vote breakdown compared to what Florida's total poll of voters will look like for November. For Georgia, voters in the Peach State have also more than doubled their ballot returns compared to this time in 2016. Coming from CNN's most competitive states with race data available, Georgia currently has the smallest share of ballots cast by white voters, and Georgia also has the largest share of ballots that are cast by black voters, a key Democratic voting bloc among key states. Black voters have cast a greater share of pre-election day votes this year compared to the point that was back in 2016, representing over 35% of those early ballots now, which is up from 29% 4 years ago. White voters have cast a smaller share of ballots ahead of the election, dropping from 68% in 2016 to 58% currently. And ballot returns in North Carolina are more than 9 times larger than this point in 2016. Black voters make up a large share of those who have already cast their ballots than they did at this point 4 years ago. 17% of the ballots cast have come from black voters, compared to just 9% at this point 4 years ago. Meanwhile, white voters' share of the ballots cast has dropped to roughly 10%, from 86% 4 years ago to 76% currently. And that's all that is there. So So if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Rambin Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.